As a people with one song, with one voice, we're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore.
Yeah, thank you so much for staying tuned. It's Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Welcome to the second half of our special coverage of the off-cycle election across 3 states: Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State. Generally, it's been peaceful with some pockets of incidences here and there, but nothing to worry about. And right about now, across the 3 states, voting is expected to be over, except for those who were on the queue by 2:30. That's what the Electoral Act says, that if you're on the queue before 2:30, then you will be allowed to vote. But to Kogi State now, where our correspondent is there, Mustafa Isiaka is going to give us an update of what is happening. Hello, Musti. How are you doing today?
Here is that virtually all the voting centers, the voting has been officially stopped, and we still have a pocket of people, late-time voters, trying here and there, maybe they could have their way to cast their vote, but it, appears there is not going to be something like that. The INEC officials are insisting on the time factor. Almost all the streets in Korea are distracted, and the tension seems to be a bit high here, because what they are doing now at the police center is to police. So they are sorting out, voting ballot papers with the maximum attention of virtually all the party agents, and there seems to be, the kind of tension in the air. Except for those particular who are the voting centers, managing their whatever they have brought to serve for voters. Everyone now seems to be, out there in intention, anticipating or anxiously waiting for what the result may likely turn out to be. The INEC officials are charged with the responsibility of sorting out the ballot papers in the presence of virtually all the parties, agents, trying to keep the ego high on how the papers are being sorted out. The streets, as I said before, are practically empty, and the entire town is a bit of intention, waiting for what is likely be the result. Has not been any serious issue or incidents of violence so far, except for some minor, disagreement here and there. But there has not been anything as in serious violence. In virtually all the voting centers we have visited, things are going normal, and people are trusting.
All right, Musti, let me talk about the last part there. Before today, there was heightened apprehension across the state, Kogi State. Because of insecurity, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. It's obvious that this was misplaced, because from what you have told us and from reports in other parts of the state, it does look as if those fears were misplaced in the first place.
Yeah, I think what really transpired is the fact that we have a high concentration of security operatives in Kogi as we speak. Virtually all the neighboring states security agencies have been collapsed into Kogi state, and they obviously have more than enough operatives, on ground to take charge of things. For instance, the civil defense, national security and civil defense corps, they are handling government about their state commandants in the state, with thousands of their men scattered all over, trying to thwart whatever effort that to free their, violence. The same thing with the police too. We have a lot of police commissioners, in charge of operations that have been dispatched to the state. As early as Thursday, they've been on the ground and they've been coming the therapy, especially the voting centers. So whatever anybody has been planning, I think he or she must have been overwhelmed by the intimidating presence of security of the state. So this time around, it may not be, things may not happen the way people are envisaged, that there will be crisis here and there. And we've not heard of any issue from any part of the so to speak.
All right. Thank you so much, Musti. We really do appreciate your information and interventions throughout this period. Thank you so much, Musti.
And let me quickly I don't know if I can pass it. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes. All the relaxation points, within Lokoja, already open, waiting for which victory will sing its way to bring in their people. So that it's just a matter of, 1 or 2 hours when the entire town will go back into bumping stuff. So people are really waiting. The tension is not as if to cause anything, but they are just holding on to see how things will swing their way, so that the whole town will go agog again. Just like what happened last night. The entire town was agog, and people really moved around from night to very wee hours of this morning. So things are going normally.
All right, thank you so much, Musi, for all that you do for us, and thank you for your intervention so far today. Oh, well, that was our correspondent in Lokoja, Mustafa Isiaka, giving us an update of the situation and how it went down. Still, well, talking about Kogi State, earlier in the day before the close of ballots, the governor of the state also gave some interviews to reporters, giving his impression about the situation so far and the election, how it went. Let's listen to Governor Yaya Bello on his impression after the election.
I have just casted my vote, along with my family members, and others are casting their vote. It is timely. All materials were deployed within the time stipulated. And so far, I have not received any complaint from any quarter. The conduct of INEC so far has been so fantastic. All the security agencies have conducted themselves so far very professionally. All the citizens that are exercising their franchise are doing that freely. There's no hitches, no rancor. We're united, and we are happy over this exercise. And by the special grace of God, we are going to come off very triumphant in this particular exercise. The issue of electoral violence in Kogi State, in my own time, is a media creation. or those that are not on ground here in Kogi State, go into history, go into record, and compare my own regime and that of the previous ones, you will discover that the regime of Governor Yahaya Bello conduct of elections have been the most freest, the most free, fair, and credible and violent-free elections. So the issue of violence in our election in Kogi State is a media creation, is a figment of imagination of all those who does not want good things happen here in Kogi State. But to the glory of God, you are seeing the atmosphere very tranquil, very, very peaceful, very, very in harmonious relationship. So there's nothing like violence. And the conduct of free and fair and credible election is in the hands of both INEC, security agencies.
Oh, well, that was Governor Yahaya Bello after casting his vote in Lokoja earlier today, saying that the security heightened before the election, the apprehension, the fears, and everything associated with insecurity that that people had regarding the situation in Kogi State was misplaced. In fact, he even described it as a media creation, saying nothing of such happened. So, well, from Kogi State, we now move to Bayelsa State, where the former President Goodluck Jonathan called for a stoppage of what he called the practice of off-season election in Nigeria. He expressed concern that if the country continues with off-season polls, a time will come when the presidential election might become off-cycle. The former president was speaking after casting his vote in Ward 13, Otueke, Abuja local government area of Bayelsa State.
If we continue with this trend of off-season elections based on the interpretation of our laws by the judicial officer to complete time at the presidential election will be off-season, probably that is the time that all of you media people and others should be worried. Look at the American system. Everybody knows when the American elections will be conducted. That's standard practice in other countries. When I say presidential election in Nigeria may be off-season one day, some people may get say, why, how? It almost happened 2007. I contested as a running mate in President Yaradua. You know that election, the 7 judges that presided over the case, 3 of them, in their own judgment that elections they are not, 4 of them sustained the election. That is why we stayed. If one has crossed over, by now the presidential election in Nigeria will be off-season election, and it is not a test for a country. And there's easy things to do to make sure that other states, now we have 7 states that are off-season. We need to stop there. And where possible, these 7 states too can be migrated back to fall in line with the other states that the National Assembly can do that. That is my message for the National Assembly, my message for Nigerians today.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan there after casting his vote in Otueke earlier today, saying that something should be done about the off-cycle election. The National Assembly should be persuaded to do something about that. I'm sure that this will generate a lot of interest, and it will be topical issues for the whole of next week after the euphoria of the election would have died down. Well, you're still listening to the special coverage of the off-cycle election from Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Omoite, and by law, the elections have closed. Voting has closed in all the polling centers across the 3 states, except for those we had voters on queue before 2:30 p.m. But still staying in Bayelsa State, the governor, Doye Diri, also voted and he also gave his impression about the voting and the situation in Bayelsa State. Let's listen to him.
The personnel that are handling the process. For concerns, yes. We have concerns about Nimbe Basambri, where party members, most of whom have been excluded. Our agents have been in the case. What we call for is a free, fair process where the beavers should be used, just as I have done here today. So let the accreditation be by the beavers in Nimbe Basambri. So special attention has to be taken on Nimbe Basambri. Because everything points to the fact that in Nimbe Basambri, PDP members are chased out of their community, letting the country know of what has happened in Bayelsa. And you know it's not only that. We had issues in southern Niger where we had a boat that capsized. So there were two major issues yesterday. The Sabama Ward 6, where some criminals came and looked with those materials, and I process.
Oh well, that was Governor Diri there after he voted in Yenagoa, the capital of Bayelsa State, giving his impression also about the situation. From Bayelsa State, we will move on now to Imo State, another state that before today there was also heightened apprehension about the possibility of outbreak of violence. But from reports so far received, it doesn't look as if that situation really happened, because we've not heard of any major security situation in Imo State. But let's listen to Governor Hope Uzodinma on his impression about the election in that state.
The governor is speaking now. Let's just listen. And the conduct has been very orderly. You can see the queue is very straight, and there is no interference. They have not seen anything that is suggesting that there will be any likelihood of disorganization. So it's an impressive outing too. You can see the number of people that have come out to vote. I'm not surprised, because this is my hometown. Of course, you know that the prophet is rather known very strongly in his hometown. So the conduct is very impressive. I want to commend INEC. I want also to commend security agencies with the kind of deployment they have done and how orderly the environment has become. And contrary to the ugly expectation that the environment will not be there for voting to take place, you can see that the INEC has risen to the occasion and everything seems to be very normal. It is not over yet. I think I just came to vote, and other people will still come to vote. But what I've seen here compared to what happened in the February election is very impressive. And it is our hope that more people will come out. But at least my happiness is that we have the environment to conduct this election, and people have come to exercise their franchise, and voting is going on. I think INEC has done well, and we must commend them. Well, you see for yourself that the security agencies are properly deployed, and the entire space is manned and occupied. And the people are responding positively, and people are behaving themselves. I've not heard that there's any knockout anywhere to talk of bullets. So I think Imo State is good to go.
So before now, there's been this perception about
the outcome. Only God knows the outcome. I've voted, and then people are still voting. At the end of the day, whatever God approved will be announced by INEC.
Your excellencies are
the governor is speaking now. Let's just listen to him. And the conduct has been very orderly. You can see the queue is very straight, and there is no interference. They have not seen anything that is suggesting that there will be any likelihood of disorganization. So it's an impressive outing too. You can see the number of people that have come out to vote. I'm not surprised because this is my hometown. Of course, you know that the prophet is rather known very strongly in his hometown. So the conduct is very impressive. I want to commend INEC. I want also to commend security agencies with the kind of requests they have named. They carried away some of the police units. And I also heard that a place like Owe Municipal Council there. We've had a couple of reports. Well, like I said, DTD is today, they're watching. The more people are desirous of change. So I try to make it into that because
Sam I am with the candidate of the PDP in Imo State, and before then we had the governor of Imo State, who was also the candidate of the APC. All of them giving their impression about how the election went in that state. So it also looks as if the naysayers were wrong again this time around. All the prediction about violence taking over the state didn't actually happen, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be happy about that.
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7, and it's still the special off-cycle election coverage from our studios here, live from Labour House, Central Area, Federal Capital Territory. I'm still talking about security ahead of today. Before now, security chiefs have been assuring Nigerians that all will go down well. The Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Defense Staff were all on their toes, making sure that everything went well. And it does look as if at the end of the day, from what we've heard so far, they did a good job. Let's listen to the Inspector General of Police and the Chief of Defense Staff.
We have carried out our threat assessment, and that has informed us with respect to allocation of our resources and deployment of our men. All the security agencies are collaborating strongly to ensure that this election is violent-free. My appeal to people who may want to come out to make trouble during this election is to stay away from this election, because there will be no place for them to operate in this election. We are aware of negative mobilization by some supporters of some candidates, and we're already monitoring them. We are ready for them for this election. I appeal to them to stay away from this election. Those who want to come out and disrupt the election should just stay away. And I appeal to the electorates to come out en masse and to come and cast their votes during this election.
So we want to assure Nigerians, especially those in those three states for the off-season election, not to have any fear or any doubt that the armed forces and the police and other security agencies will be fully on ground. Every Nigerian we're sure is tired of elections with violence. This we intend to make it different. We want to do things differently. We want at the end of it, every Nigerian should be proud, first to be a Nigerian, first to understand that elections are now free and fair. We want everybody who wins an election should be happy that he won, and he won very well without any intimidation.
Here we stand as a one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours.
Well, that was the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and also the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Both of them speaking on the achievements and also the plans that was before the election, and at the end of the day, it turned out that everything on ground proved very good for the election. So there's kudos to our security chiefs and all the officers and men of the armed forces, and also the officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies for putting up a good performance so far for this election. At least we've not had any major incidents so far after the election. So it's a second phase now. In most of the centers, there are votes have been, from our reporters, we understand that sorting is still going on. In some, they've started counting. But the official result will be given by the Independent National Electoral Commission at the end of the day. So maybe that will also form another talking point. But I guess we have to stop here today. At the end of the day, I think we've had a nice time interacting with you. We will keep you updated in our subsequent bulletin on the result and the fallout of election. Throughout next week, there are going to be a lot of talking points that we will have to deal with in the course of discussions on our programs, on our news bulletins, and so many other things. So on behalf of the production crew, the engineers, and everyone here, my name is Lawrence Omoiti. Have a beautiful day ahead as we revert to our programmings. Good afternoon.
People, different tribes, different tongues, where you